Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we are diving into a topic so many of us can relate to: why realtors hate small talk. Let's just jump right into it because we've got some fascinating ground to cover.
So to really get to the bottom of that sinking dread you might feel at a networking event, we're anchoring our insights in some fantastic source material. It's from the book Switch On Strengths, and specifically, we're looking at strengths in real life. And you know, the best part about this approach? We are not treating your absolute avoidance of small talk as a social deficit. We're not calling it a flaw. No way. We are looking at this purely through the lens of personal development. It's about taking those deeply awkward mixer moments and understanding the hidden mechanics behind them, because as you'll see, what looks like a weakness is actually a profound strength in disguise.
Okay, I want you to reflect on your own behavior for a second, and be completely honest here. Do you actually enjoy small talk, or do you avoid it completely? If you're the type of person who, say, actively dodges the office water cooler, or maybe you hide in the hallway during the first 10 minutes of a conference just to avoid discussing the humidity, well, I want to validate you right now. You are absolutely not alone. In fact, understanding your honest answer to this question is literally the first step in unlocking a much more powerful and, frankly, a much more comfortable way to connect with people in your professional life.
Now, you've undoubtedly noticed this stark contrast at social gatherings, right? Some people can just chat with anyone. They effortlessly glide through the room, mingling, laughing, bouncing around without breaking a sweat. And then there are the others. The ones who would literally rather leave the room than endure one more conversation about the appetizer selection or the traffic on the way over. So what is the core psychological mystery here? Why does one group absolutely thrive while the other group finds it almost physically painful?
Well, here is the massive aha moment. The problem, the trap we all fall into, is assuming you are just shy. People internalize this. They think, oh, I must just have social anxiety. I'm just timid. I'm naturally terrible at networking. But let's bust that myth right now based on our source material. The reality? Craving meaning and authenticity. That is what's actually happening. You don't fear people. You are simply starved for a real, genuine connection with them.
It really comes down to this idea. People who naturally build deep relationships often crave authenticity, which means surface conversations feel entirely exhausting. If you are what we call a relator, your social energy is precious. You only have a finite amount of it, and you want to spend it on things that actually matter. When you're forced into surface-level chatter, it doesn't just feel boring, it completely drains your battery because it goes against your hardwired strength of seeking authentic bonds. Your brain is essentially rejecting the small talk because it's too busy scanning the room for a real, substantial connection.
Just think about the magnitude of this difference for a second. 10 hours discussing the weather versus 1 hour talking about dreams, struggles, or purpose. A relator would take that 1 hour of deep conversation every single time. Let that sink in. 1 hour of genuine vulnerability completely outweighs 10 hours of polite nothingness. And you know, this proves that your communication style isn't a weakness at all. It's a total superpower. When you dive into conversations about purpose and real challenges, you are building intense loyalty, trust, and real collaboration. You have this incredible ability to connect profoundly. You just need the right conversational fuel to ignite it.
But of course, we do have to ground this in reality. The challenge here is that networking almost always starts with small talk. That is just the undeniable social contract of the professional world. We can't completely avoid it right out of the gate, so how do we survive these events without burning out entirely?
Luckily, our source material provides a wonderfully practical 3-step solution to this exact problem. Step 1. Don't force a fake persona. Don't try to be the bubbly, small-talk loving extrovert if you just aren't one. It's exhausting, and honestly, people can easily tell it's not authentic. Step 2 is your real secret weapon. Transition quickly. You do not have to linger in weather chat. Your goal is to move the conversation from the surface to something meaningful as fast as politely possible. And how do you do that? Step 3. Use questions to create connection. By asking intentional questions, you take the wheel. You steer right out of the shallow waters and straight into the meaningful territory where you naturally thrive. Which brings us to a final challenge for you as we wrap up this explainer. What deep question will you use to create connection at your next networking event? Think about this right now. Instead of defaulting to crazy weather we're having, prepare to ask something like, what's the most exciting project you're working on right now? Or what's the biggest challenge your team is facing this quarter? Prepare a couple of these transition questions in advance. When you do, you're going to walk into your next event not with dread, but with a strategic toolkit. You'll bypass the exhaustion and quickly unlock those authentic, deep relationships you are naturally built for. So what's your question going to be? Thanks for joining me for this explainer, and definitely test this strategy out the very next time you're networking.